Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit freedomlovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. freedomlovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Okay, guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on UnitedStates.fm network. This is the hour about love. And you know what? I don't know if there is anything more important than loving the truth, loving our fellow humans. Try to warn them. You know, when everybody's laughing at you because they think you're crazy, you still keep doing the right thing. You keep doing it. You keep saying, exposing evil. That's why we're here. That's why I still am on the air, because honestly, I couldn't care less. I have so many things to do. You know that. I have no desire to stay behind the microphone. There is so much pressure. There is so much to do. You know, really, it's not about the money. Couldn't care. But the only reason why I'm still here, because I know maybe this is my little job. Even with my humble little radio show here in Northwest Arizona, and now, of course, through the internet, we can reach more people. I want to try to warn the same people I used to try to warn when I used to go like a crazy, go door to door almost, you know, to my friends, my neighbors, say, look what's going on, look what they're doing to us. This is not just about politics. It's not about the rights that they're completely destroying, this global enslavement, the deception. This is also about something more immediate. It's more important than taxation. It's more important than politics. Of course, politics means, at the end of the day, if you're a slave or if you're a free human being. But this is something that everybody should be concerned. I don't care if you're a Bernie Sanders socialist guy or if you are, I don't know, some neocon out there still believing that Bush was a good guy. This should belong to everybody. It's about, we are ready here to die. Seriously, they're killing us. They're killing us every day, not even that slowly anymore. And there are different ways. And this is not just the US government. Now there are governments of the world. They have this sort of a conspiracy that is not a conspiracy anymore. It's in plain view. Not only they are modifying the weather, for only which reason, we don't know. I can have different ideas, of course. But the problem is, regardless why they're doing that, they are imposing in our body, on our bodies, chemicals and germs and substances that they are really damaging and dangerous to our health. So, you want to call it chemtrails, you want to call it weather modification, I don't care. All I know that I had many guests on my show in the past, from Italy, like Rosario Marciano, and from, of course, the US, and also from Ireland, from everywhere. I don't care where you're from. We got to unite, we got to share the truth, and wake up our fellow humans. That's why we're here. This is, for me, the strongest and most powerful act of love that we can do, because we got to save each other. Now, today I have great guests, great people, great activists. They're doing this, they're not getting paid. They do this because they love. They love try to do the right thing. Anyway, from England, right now, I have two great people. One is Olga Raffa, and the other one is Mr. Harry Rhodes. Let's start with Olga. Olga, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Very good. Nice to meet you, Olga. Finally, we talk in person. We've been friends on Facebook for a while, and I'm glad that you're here through a friend that told me about what's going on. Barbara Craig told me about there is something going on in England right now about try to bring awareness to the people of Europe, of course, and the world about this crime. I call it the crime of weather modification / chemtrails. Please, of all, tell us a little bit what's going on and any news from England right now.
Well, yes, we are doing a march to Downing Street to hand in some documents to Mr. Cameron, and that'll be on the 2nd of May. We're calling it May Day SOS Save Our Skies. and we'd be going down there quite regularly. One time in particular was 2014. We handed a petition with 2,000 signatures, along with a directive that's on our website, which is chemtrailsprojectuk.com. And you can go and see the document there that we handed in. And we only got an acknowledgement that they received it, but we didn't get an adequate reply. So we've got 3,000 more signatures, and we're going back down on Monday to knock on Mr. Cameron's front door again. And we are now putting him on notice. We are now officially letting him know that we are ready to prosecute. Because it's time, this is serious. We gave them a fair warning a couple of years ago. We reached 450 MPs on the record on our website that they've been reached, and they acknowledged our documents and our rainwater tests showing that there's alarming rates of aluminium, barium, strontium, the footprint of geoengineering. And so we're going back down. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be at least 300 or 400 people going. We're going to make a noise and have a party in the street.
Very good. This is so important what you're doing this, because I know that there is an awareness, individual awareness. Okay, people start to ask questions, but they're still afraid to get out of their homes. They're still afraid to even be public about that. And that's exactly what the enemy of humanity is counting on. They try to keep us somehow isolated and try to, first of all, make fun of us. They try to create this sort of propaganda, this psychological warfare. If you say something, you must be crazy. But you know what? I think at this point, whoever is crazy out there, people that have eyes and cannot meet the evidence. So I'm so glad you're doing that. Now, tell me a little bit about this level of aluminum, because I tell you, and barium, and this is just what we know, because there is so much more we have no idea, because sometimes we test for things we looking for, but there are so many things we don't test because we don't have idea they're doing to us. How did you find out that there is a contamination coming from these trails with the aluminum or barium? How did you get to that conclusion?
All right. Well, when I first started doing some research, because I did hear the word chemtrails over 10 years ago, but never really wondered what it was. I'd never really seen, I saw one line in the sky, but when I saw it in 2011, an absolute onslaught, I'm like, this is just crazy number of trails going over my house in the middle of the countryside. I said, this is not regular. I did start then investigating chemtrails and saw that people had been doing rainwater tests in the States. And so I got hold of John White, who put on the Consciousness Beyond Chemtrails conference. And he helped me set up rainwater testing here in the UK. And so on our website, we have those results. And they do show some alarming rates. Of course, no heavy metals should be in our rainwater. But also, if you go to the government website that shows their own testing, there's even higher levels of all of these heavy metal contaminants in their very own official rainwater tests. So, and talking about, what they are and what they could be doing. One that I didn't realize that, Prince just passed away recently, and he spoke openly about chemtrails. Mm-hmm. And I think there was manganese in there that he was saying that the person who told him, I heard him talk, there's a specific town in Australia that mines this heavy metal manganese. Or is it magnesium? I think it's manganese, and it's on our web. It's on our
manganese, I guess. Yes.
Now, this heavy metal makes people become very violent, and where they mine this heavy metal is their crime rate and murder rate is 200 times the population than it should normally be, as it usually is, and so. I looked, and there it is in our rainwater tests. Why? Why would it be here? And so you can see who knows how they're affecting us. But synergistically, it's genocide, because a lot of us in the UK use the national health for our dentistry, and many people have amalgam fillings. Now, the synergistic effect of any heavy metal with mercury has got to be on a level of absolute genocide. And David Cameron has put out, an alert that there's high rates of dementia that will increasingly increase with the years coming. And so we've pointed that out to him in a new letter we've written, putting him on notice that we will prosecute, because this is genocide.
Let me tell you something. I'm so glad that we talked today. I always say I use this show to learn. There's never, an end how much you can learn. The more you think you know something, you know nothing. And I'm so glad today we were talking about this manganese, because I tell you something. Yes, we all talk about, at least the most common, let's say, metals that we know that they're using for weather modification. One is barium, salt of barium, and the other one is aluminum. And by the way, just to confirm what you're saying, we did tests here in Mojave County, Arizona, about 5 years ago, not just in the water that was found highly contaminated, the rainwater, but also especially in our blood test, directly under the supervision of a medical doctor. So we weren't playing hocus pocus out there for people that think we're a bunch of crazy. We had a real doctor. At the beginning, didn't want to prescribe us this test, but finally, using his brain and our pressure, he did it. We pay him. That's the bottom line. And we did a test, and out of 15 people between Mojave County, everybody living in different households, so not flying the excuse that, we drink in the same water, no, different wells, different water system, different environment, different food. 90% of us came back with level of barium way above the maximum that was under the supervision of the Central Disease Control. We're talking about the top level supposed to be, the maximum level supposed to be 11, from 0 to 11. Some of us had like 285, 300. We're talking about 2,000% above. So this is one thing. But now you're talking about the manganese, and you're talking about this violent behavior. I must tell you something. I'm the most calm person that you can imagine. Seriously, I'm very like San Francis of Assisi, okay? But there are some days when they spray, I feel so irritated. I feel things that normally I felt in my body, seriously. And I'm very short. I need to stay by myself because I start to get really an attitude, I cannot tolerate anybody around me. And normally when the day is beautiful and there are no planes and there are no spray, I feel great. But when they spray for 2-3 days in a row, I feel highly irritable. And I tell you, if I was somebody else that was already a jerk, I would be trouble. Seriously. And I'm studying right now for out there people that they don't believe. This is a biochemical reaction in our body. You can go to lead.org.au or just Google. Put manganese in behavior, in causes violence. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is maybe a part of the plan or maybe just a side effect. I don't know. But this is serious. By the way, speaking about situation, I was talking to my mom in Italy. That, by the way, is another part of NATO highly under attack by weather modifications slash chemtrails. This year, the Italian government came out with a number about 45,000 mysterious deaths. People who died without any type of reason. But meanwhile, 45,000 people died this year that weren't justifiable. And my mother's saying now that a lot of her friends, even younger people, she's a senior, they're having serious problem with extreme fatigue and also with the problem in their joints. Something that many people shouldn't have. Myself, I'm still pretty young. I'm 48. I'm in great shape considering. But when they spray a lot, I still feel pain in my hands. Like, what's going on? To tell me, what do you think about these symptoms? Something you can corroborate what's happening also in the UK?
Oh, absolutely. I lived in the States for 20 years in California. And the sun, I've really lived there because I love the sunshine. And that was before, apparently, they're chemtrailing over there a lot. And when I moved back to England, after about a year, oh my gosh, I got ringing in the ears. And I just would wake up in the morning and I would just feel like this is not me. And I've really not really quite felt the same since. And I think that not only is it obviously a lot cloudier in England, but I think they use a lot of frequencies here to suppress us as well, because they there's the atmosphere is now a battery, and we've inhaled all of these particulates. So I do feel very sometimes very lethargic. Of course, since finding out about chemtrails, I've sat at the computer full time for about 5 years now, and I have a hip issue, but I too feel my joints, that I really eat really healthy, and I do a lot of juicing and fasting, and it's very unusual. So I've now got a distiller that I bought off my own website, and I'm taking diatomaceous clay, which has got silica, and I'm taking MMS, DMSO, and MSM. And you have to research those. They're fantastic for helping with eliminate cancer and clearing out the heavy metals and detoxing. It's a must. We just have to do that. Like we brush our teeth, we now have to make sure we eliminate these heavy metals from our system if we're going to have a healthy old age.
The best way would be that we stop the cause, the source. They need to knock it off. I mean, I understand. We got to find a way, meanwhile, to survive and to try to resist, because otherwise, if we really don't care ourselves, I'm telling you, to have a clean diet, to try to drink clean water without chemicals, and of course to try to find every natural remedies that can help you to fight this daily attack of these chemicals and also germs, because there is more. We just found out, of course, now there was also a famous actor, Mr. Chuck Norris. I'm so glad he came out publicly. Just a few days ago, he published an article on World Day News where he states documents from the government that they using aerosol, a new form of vaccinations, to vaccinate populations without even their consent. So I wouldn't be surprised, since we already have a history out there. For all people that are laughing right now, I tell you, look how many times the U.S. government and many other governments, but in this case the U.S. government, has been testing on civilians declassified documents without their consent, with very dangerous biological and even chemical and even nuclear experiments. In Mojave County, especially here in Arizona, all the people that are still laughing at you, you know what, you idiots, you fool, and I'm talking seriously from my heart. I give you the keyword, Mojave downwinders. In the 50s, the U.S. government, they used to blow up nukes just a few hundred miles from here, north of Mojave County. People that were not allowed to say anything because they were thinking that it was a conspiracy. And when people knew it, they would just die just because they were afraid to speak up. Guess what? Now all these people, they're dead. So wake up, do it for your sons and daughters, and don't be a cow and a slave. Now, my point is, as you said, this is not just about the chemicals anymore. This is also about their frequencies. And I was learning, this is something much more, we don't really know all the reasons why they are doing these weather modifications. There are different levels of answers. Could be one to create and manipulate the weather as a weapon. Also one because it's part of, in the stock market, especially in the US, they can create weather, they can create also a different type of, in Chicago there is an exact part of the Chicago stock market, they can pretty much, with insurance company, they can make money out of this. And there is also the other angle that could say, okay, they want to vaccinate us without even knowing that we are getting vaccines. The other one could be, you tell me if there is something I miss. I'm sure there are many other things I'm missing. For example, the other one could be Monsanto, that now they patented a seed that is aluminum resistant, and I did my self-testing, doing my own farm. I got my own little vases and food that I grow. If I grow some type of plants like zucchini, they are GMO-free, heirloom seeds, they do not grow anymore. All I get the flower. But if I get the regular GMO zucchini, that of course I'm not even going to feed the chickens with that, but I just did an experiment, same year, same water, same dirt, they're going to grow big. So many other reasons. But now, you tell me about these frequencies. There was an interesting article that I just read a few days ago that seems like through this sort of chemicals that they release into the sky, the military, they are conducting some sort of warfare to our brain. They can modify also our wavelength, and they can also create some sort of mind control. What do you know about this? Am I out of control here, or maybe there is something to that?
Well, I mean, look at the Gwen Towers, and if you go to a website, stopthecrime.net, Deborah Tavares gives you all the information you need about that. It's real. Those frequencies could be put onto a less harmful frequency that would still help us with the communications that we think that they're being used for. But if you look at them, they're huge, and the cables going in there could really annihilate. It's known now that with a flip of a switch, they could literally kill.
Yeah.
So that's a fact. And so, so a lady called Jolie Diane, I've been working with. We've set up a group called Civilian Action Team, and she's in DC, and she's going into Congress's offices. And just putting the information on their desk, saying, you put these towers up, and did you ask our permission? Did you do any testing on that? And they're like, well, no, we didn't. And so what we're doing now, we're trying to turn it around and just keep putting the onus on them with the rainwater test results, which is similar to what we're going to do here in the MP. After our march, and we're setting up these teams to really push and support each other in numbers now, demanding action, and that they protect the environment. That's what they're there for. They're almost speechless. There's an environmental crimes department. We're going to start approaching them because it's a crime, and we're just, we're dressing up, we're suited and booted, looking the part. We're not emotional. We're going in, and we're just handing them the information. It's like, it's your job.
Yeah.
But we need to be in numbers, and we need to push back hard now because it's critical.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, do I have here Harry back on the air? And also I see Jolie.
Yes.
Hi, Harry.
I've been here 2 days.
Very good, my friend. Please, I give you the floor. Interact right now. Say whatever you have to say. Introduce yourself and give the information, please.
Well, just coming back to aluminium. In the UK, I was absolutely shocked to find out in 2015, on the first 3 months of the year, how many deaths just in England and Wales do you think we had from the flu virus and dementia, which we found, and Alzheimer's disease, which is to do with the spraying partly of aluminium. We had 529,000 people, most of them over 70, die over a 3-month period.
Wow.
Never mentioned on mainstream media.
Wow.
In fact, the hospitals got to breaking point to collapse because of that problem. But that problem was never mentioned in mainstream media. Now, I, on the 7th of January, went on the satellites looking at the cloud formations, and there were thousands and thousands of square miles of chemtrails.
Wow. This is
Now,
so serious.
Influenza flu virus, and it spread with the cloud to Europe, and thousands of people died in Europe. It followed that cloud. Amazing.
What?
But here's the kicker.
Yes, please.
Right. And I've been looking at mercury content in people's bodies. Now, mercury, as we know, is a terrible, probably the worst neurotoxin heavy metal that could ever come across.
Yeah.
So it on its own can cause dementia and Alzheimer's disease, which, by the way, is the #1 killer for women in the UK and the #3 killer for men. So you couldn't have a more critical, serious issue if you're talking about toxins. Now, aluminium, once you get that in the body as well, that actually opens the brain barrier so that you allow the mercury in. But there's a second problem, and that is that aluminium, when mixed with mercury, actually makes the mercury 100 times more neurotoxic.
Oh my gosh.
Now, that's not by accident. This is by deliberate planning, and that's one of the reasons that David Cameron is going to be served legal notice, because when he was told about this, He did nothing whatsoever.
Wow, this is, as I said, when you think it's bad, you never realize how much really we are just scratching the surface of the iceberg here. Seriously. And
Yes.
I want
This
to
is
say
genocide. This is
genocide.
deliberate genocide.
And
And sorry to interrupt.
No, go
but
ahead,
the
please, go
other
ahead.
Agenda,
go ahead.
the other agenda that they had was that 529,000 people that died. Sorry, it was 539,000 people that died. Most of them over 70 years age. So I reckon they were targeted. My wife's a nurse, and she was having 1 and 2 people a day dying in the wards.
Yeah.
Now,
Wow.
they claim £155.56 a week in pensions. And I worked out that those deaths resulted in a saving of £4.2 billion a year by the UK government.
Yeah.
How about that? And that's deliberate too.
Yeah, I believe that too. And by the way, let me tell you, first of all, people may laugh or not, I don't care. This is time to look at the evidence. There is a global plan of population control, even worse, depopulation, okay? And this is on the open. I can give you some keywords now. I don't have 24 hours radio show. We have just 1 hour, okay? But for the listeners out there that they still think, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? Let me give you just the short story right now. And this didn't start just with Obama. We have a piece of trash right now in the White House sitting as a czar of science. I don't know if he's still there, but I think so last time I checked. John P. Holdren, okay? He wrote a book in the 1970-something. You can find his book, Eco Science, in Amazon. If you got $400 to spend, get one, or you can get a PDF copy online for free. This guy that right now is sitting at the White House, paid by our tax dollar, he put it out on the open in that book that we need to find a way to reduce the population in every way they can, using chemicals in the water, forced vaccination, even chemical castration, even using licenses to just reproduce. I mean, Hitler, he didn't put it in writing like that. Probably he did it. But these guys, they're saying it, they put it in books. I gave you another keyword, the Georgia Guidestones. And there is so much more. They're saying that. Now, it's funny that they're having a very big, let's say, activity of weather modification. That's the first layer of excuse that they will try to tell you now, because they need to save the environment from global warming, that, by the way, they're creating, in my opinion, according to facts. But it's funny that, for example, in Mojave County, mostly they are all retired people, or many seniors. They're spraying like there is no tomorrow. And I tell you, this is one of the areas that they're spraying the most. I start to believe also it's part of how to save the money that they already stole from your pensions and from your social security and everything else. I completely believe that. So you think that could be part of the reason, or there are many more reasons why they're doing that? Why you think that? It's not just about money. Hey, guys.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Harry to respond there.
I think Harry is he dropped, but please,
He
Olga.
dropped. Oh, too bad. Yeah, I mean, it's primarily military, isn't it? And it's a NATO program, and they're carrying out their military operations in the skies with the frequencies as radar. That's well known. The chaff that they aluminium chaff. And primarily military, but this is what we're facing. We have to put the military on notice too. And did you know they are registered? Their headquarters, the American headquarters, Air Force, is in Westminster.
Yeah.
So they'll be getting a letter from us too. I mean, we're serious now. It's like our children are going to have to clean this mess up, and if we don't take action now, it's going to be on our children. And it's going to be impossible.
Yeah.
But it's not, because we're going to take care of it and we're going to end this.
We have no other choice. Yeah. This is, I think, the most powerful act of love we can do to ourselves, our neighbors, our fellow humans, and for our future generations. We have to step up. Every one of us. I don't care if you have a pen or to write a letter to the editor, or just go knock to your neighbors' doors, or just talk to your family members when everybody's laughing at you. Doesn't matter. Every one of us, regardless the odds, we have to do our duty. The first duty now is to educate people, because we need to reach critical mass. And when we reach critical mass, we need to drag out of the offices these criminals that have been paid off or been too afraid to speak up. I don't care. At that point, it's the same. politicians who are supposed to represent us, at least in America, and I think the same there too. The job of the government is supposed to be, on paper, to defend people's rights. That's it. Not to kill us. Okay, so every politician, let me give some names, because in America I still have freedom of speech. I can call the queen the way I want it, and I can call my elected representative a whore, okay, because that's what we have here. We have politicians, they are political whores, okay? And I start to give some names. I'm responsible for that, nobody else. Former Senator Kelly Ward from the state of Arizona, you're a political whore. I'm sorry about that. You had the chance to speak about chemtrails, and you're laughing. You're denying. Now, because you're running for U.S. Senate, you try to distantiate it from us. Shame on you. You know the truth. Sonny Borrelli, state representative, now you're running for the state of Arizona. I'm sorry, you're another political whore. You know the truth. I got you on my show for 2 hours with the expert, Rosalind Peterson. And you knew it. You asked the right questions. You were very shocked. You told me in private, I'm very concerned. I'm going to try to do my best thing. And that was before the re-election. Then you got re-elected, 2 years in power. I call it in power because that's pretty much what you think you are. You're not representing us. And then you avoided us. Don't want to talk about this anymore because you're afraid to lose the political power. You know what? Your political power is not going to do anything good when we're all going to be dead. If you got a good deal about probably you're going to save us on some tax dollar, great. But guess what? When we are dead, there is no other topic or other piece of legislation we can really care. When we're going to be all with aluminum, completely full of aluminum, going to be all with Alzheimer's and different other diseases or cancer, who cares about your next saving on tax dollars? Seriously. So I tell you guys, I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't want to go to this point, but I really feel it. And this is the desperation. I've been feeling very sick the last few days. I'm telling you. And I wouldn't come to this point. And I'm a healthy guy. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything. Okay? My bill, when I do my check on my regular check, I'm great. I'm doing fine. My blood levels, everything is fine. But every time they spray, especially the last few weeks, I've been feeling like I'm dying. And if you don't wake up, this is not anymore to play politically correct. This is not anymore to call people, sorry, I didn't want to offend you. Screw you. They're killing us. Somebody's getting a knife and start to stab you a little bit every day. What are you going to say? Excuse me, can you stop? I'm going to punch you in the face, at least. Okay, so that's why we got to react like that right now. We got to call these bastards in office. And, of course, do it always legally. Don't threaten them, but call them the way they are. Bastards, political whores. And I can say that in the U.S. And I can say that even in England because I'm not a British Crown subject. Okay? Every politician in England and the Queen herself who knows the truth, they're a bunch of bastards. That's what they are. Anyway, and so the Italian government, by the way. So everybody got some. Well, let me calm down. Sorry.
I think it's justified. It's very, very justified. And thank you for giving giving us the outlet. People do need to get angry and use that energy to professionally approach these people and professionally replace those that are currently running the courts, because did you know through a lady called Anna von Reitz, she has let us know that common law is what used to be the law of the land in both America and England. And at the end of the First and Second World War, when there was no one to fill the courts positions, the military took over and were put in these positions and used the military admiralty law. And these are based on statutes and acts and on our fictitious name with our birth certificates. And guess what? The positions that were primarily held with the common law courts were abandoned. And all we need to do is fill those places and kick the others out. And it can be done very simply and very calmly. And to me, that's the best solution, is to prosecute and reinstate our healthy environment and do what we need to clean it up. And to me, that's the best step to take. And Jolie Diane is doing a great job right now. She's going into the offices in Congress and speaking to these people. And I think she's around. I don't know if we have time to bring her on.
I have
Shall
10
I
more
try and bring her
minutes.
in?
Try again. Bring her here. We have 10
Okay.
more minutes. Meanwhile, I want to say something, guys. Seriously, I'm trying
Yes.
to, keep myself calm. I really mean
Yes.
it. When I call somebody a political whore, I really mean it. I'm not even when I get mad, and I tell you why. Because when you know the truth, there is nothing worse. I can forgive ignorance. Okay, we were all ignorant. It means we did not know things. Okay, 10 years ago, I was ignorant about weather modification chemtrails. I learned. 18 years ago, I didn't know about 9/11. It was an inside job. I learned. Okay, it's a fact. That you have an open mind. Say, okay, give me the facts. I do my research, and I want to learn the truth. We can forgive ignorance till the end. There is no problem. But there is nothing worse than a person who knows the truth of a crime be committed. You give them the information. They know that people are really getting hurt. People are dying. People are getting sick. I mean, come on. When you know that they're spraying tons of aluminum and barium and germs to create this sort of whatever excuse they have, and the people are even not allowed to know that without their consent, and we have data now that people are dying like flies or getting sick, and diseases they're getting completely the new level of reality, like, this Alzheimer's getting out of control. I mean, just 2 weeks, everyone I knew, I have a friend that everybody went to the hospital, or one of your family members went to the hospital. I'm not kidding. Okay, so this is serious.
Yeah.
Now, when you know the truth, and you're still in denial because you want to take care of your little deal, because you want to get elected to the little office, or you want to be sure that the people in the community, they don't call you crazy. You know what? Shame on you. You will have the rest of eternity to think about that, because must be a special place in hell for son of a gun like you. Seriously. For people like you, must be a special place. Politicians like Cameron, or whatever we have in Italy, they have in Italy, or wherever we have at the White House, they know it. A sad thing, our congressmen know it. Off the record, they tell you. But then when you put it in public, they deny. You know what? For what? I rather, if I had to go elected, I rather to lose the elections, but at least sticking for the truth. I can't believe it. These people, they're still playing this game. So that's all I can say. It's up to us now. We, the American people, we, the British people, we, the Italian people, we, the human beings of the world, exposing this pack of liars and start to create accountability. What you're doing is great in England. I'm glad you're going to their offices, serve them with legal papers. As you know, this other gentleman was saying before, I'm so glad, Harry Rhodes, go there, start to serve them legal papers, because this is genocide, seriously. And we need to start to get media involved. I don't care if I'm the only crazy radio show around here that they talk about this. More people need to do their job. If you have a newspaper, talk about that. If you have a blog, do your job. Write a letter to the editor. At the end of the day, it's millions of us, it's billions of us, and few thousands of these cockroaches, parasites. Only God knows why they're doing that. There may be many reasons. I don't even believe they're from this planet anymore. They're such devils. Anyway, I give you the floor. Finish up, please.
Yeah, well, extreme measures for what we're facing is extreme genocide, and we're showing that. It shows. So yeah, I really encourage people, anyone in England, to come down and join us on May 2nd. It's going to be actually a great opportunity. We got thousands of flyers printed, and come down. We can serve David Cameron. And on the way, we're going to the BBC. We're stopping off at Scotland Yard and handing them notice too. So it's going to be very productive. It's not just a protest. It's a statement of non-consent.
Good.
And
question.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have a question that I was going to ask to Harry, or I can ask you. I just want to have another, pick your mind a little bit, pick your brain.
Hey
Question.
guys, how's it going?
Hello.
Oh, Julie is here. Oh, great.
Hi, Jolie. Nice to meet you.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great, and I've just been sitting here being inspired by what you've been saying. I just overcame some technical difficulties, but I'm just sitting over here smiling and just super psyched up to participate in this action that we're getting together worldwide. It's just awesome.
Jolie, where are you
Why
from?
don't you tell?
Where are you from, Jolie?
I'm originally from the East Coast on the United States, but I set up, I've had a business in California, Northern California, for about 15 years or so. And a year ago, about today, I got in my car after putting everything in storage because they're spraying the sky. as you know, and it's devastating California. It's killing everything. And so I said, well, as successful and as happy as I am here in California, what good is it if they're killing everything I love?
Yeah.
So I said, these people in D.C., they need to hear from some people, and some people, I guess, is me. So
yeah.
I have family over here on the East Coast, and we've had like over 100 meetings so far in congressional offices. And after talking with Olga and so many amazing activists, we're just convinced that the way to go and the tactic to use is just to get in there. And, as far as what you were saying about the legislators, I think they're just fear-driven. They're afraid of not getting the right press. They're afraid of not getting enough money. They're afraid of not following orders to their corporate masters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we have to be on offense and apply ourselves. And really, I was remarking earlier today, as far as like such a sports-obsessed civilization, that we've been on defense for how many thousands of years, really?
Yeah.
Workers. Defense. Why don't we go on offense? So we're going to make them nervous. That's our tactic now, and we're doing it in a very professional manner. No emotion involved. It's more like as a lawyer would do when you're collecting your materials for your investigation. So we're very excited about this, and it's just, like I said, amazing to hear that other people around the world are like also on this and committed to this, like walking the talk, not just talking about it, but just taking the action that needs to be taken.
Exactly. This is very important. I was going to ask a question, if anybody of you can answer to me. There is a point that many of these politicians or people, let's say, behind the scenes, that they could do something, they could stop this. They know that this is harmful, okay? Unless they're made of, metal or some strange type of genetical experiment, they're still human beings in my record. I hope so. Why don't you think they are concerned about themselves or their families? Or maybe they don't want to see it, or maybe they got something that we don't know. I mean, seriously, all these people that let's say that few hundred politicians that we have in Washington, okay? They got families at home too. And they know that, we are breathing all the same air. We are probably drinking the same polluted water that these chemtrails completely contaminating the ice and the different mountains. And of course, let's not forget about the food that it is not just about the air. You go to try to grow organic. I grow organic vegetables and I laugh at myself. When I buy organic, I laugh at myself. Of course, I like to buy organic than GMO stuff, but still, I wonder how much of manganese or how much aluminum and of course how much of barium that I know is being sprayed over this organic overpriced vegetable that I buy at the store. So what do you think about these politicians? Do they just completely close their eyes and let their family die too just because they want to be what they are? Or maybe they have something that we don't know?
I think that's a great question. And I think what we have to ask ourselves is, what's the organizing principle that's the vortex that's central to the policy making domestically and internationally? And we have to understand that there was a coup in the United States decades ago, and our government that's accountable to the people is not there. It's a CIA centralized operation, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And we see history to document this for us. That's not, conjecture. That's just facts and remarking on facts. And what we have to do, again, because that's an aspect of the military-industrial complex, and this is what Eisenhower was calling us to do as civilians, because our role is to keep in check the military-industrial complex. I mean, it's not that we're naive to think that there's no violence, because that would be naive. But at the same time, we can transition out of being centralized around violence, because that's something that we've outgrown as a civilization, and that's only serving, again, the corporate masters who have bought these politicians. And then we go back to that. What are the politicians afraid of? Their funding disappearing. Well, who's giving all the funding? Oh, the military industrial complex, the pharmaceutical industrial complex, the Fed, Rockefeller, you can do your homework. It's all there. But again, I think they're afraid because you know what? People get killed. Kennedy got killed for trying to take us off the gold standard.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a dangerous thing. But again, this is why grown-ups and people of conscience and faith must confront this. And it is a very dark energy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know what? We can do it, but we have to get in the game.
Yeah, and
we need to get in the game.
I want to say something. There are some people out there that they think they are like with the wind inside, or they think, oh, we're a bunch of hippies, conspiracy theory. Let me play again. No, let me tell you, this is true because I live in, I'm not right, I'm not left, I'm from liberty, okay? If you really want to put me in the spectrum, I'm a libertarian, okay? But I don't believe in this BS. But unfortunately, there's some sort of stereotype, okay? And I call this guy the good old boys, okay? The guys that they say everything the government does must be good. Because after all, if you're not with us, you must be with the terrorist, boy. Okay, that's the way they do it. Let me play this one. Because this is the guy that I think, he was everything but a hippie. He was a general. He was the president of the United States. It was 1961. This guy was as probably as mainstream as you can get, okay? Let me play his speech. Because I need to remind this for the younger generation of idiots out there. One sec. January 17, 1961.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of States.
Okay.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. We now stand 10 years past the midpoint of a century that has witnessed 4 major wars among great nations. Until the latest of our world conflicts, the United States had no armaments industry. American makers of plowshares could, with time and as required, make swords as well. But we can no longer risk emergency improvisation of national defense. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. Added to this, 3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense establishment. Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
Okay, I wanted to play it all. I didn't want just to play the part normally everybody plays, because this is important. This was 1961, okay? This man, he was a general. He wasn't just some, farmer from I don't know where, okay? To talk about the military-industrial complex and the danger, we know, confirm exactly what you're saying. That's the point. And the time is short. I mean, there was dangers, 50 years ago or so. Imagine now where we are. So, what do you think, Olga, about this? Are we too late?
No. I think it's if we all step up and do what needs to happen, we can certainly do this because it just has to happen. It just has to stop. And I really think that awareness is growing exponentially, and I'm very, very confident that we can do this and bring them to justice. and clear up the environment. And I just think that their plans are not panning out the way they'd have liked. Things are blowing up in their face, really. So that's why I can only encourage people to come along, get involved, and do what it takes. So join our civilian action team, get involved, be professional, and do what needs to be done on a legal and professional basis. Do what they do to us. It's all documents and signatures. It's very easy. We can do it.
So, and the good thing is what you're doing there in England, should be an inspiration. It shouldn't be just about, okay, great job, guys. No. Use this as a model. Wherever you are, Italy, Denmark, Germany, Africa, I don't care where you are, even on Mars, because pretty soon they're coming to you too, okay? These bastards, they're everywhere. Now, we got to do our part. And as I said, when I said before, are we too late, was almost a rhetorical question. I don't care about the odds. It is my duty as a human being, till I have blood in these veins, till I have oxygen in my lungs. I don't care if I'm alone with you only, Olga, or a few of us, and of course it's not that, it's millions of us. I don't care if I had to say out loud and scream by myself. I'll do everything I can till I have any little bit of energy in this body. Because the point is not just about this battle that we are facing on this dimension. I really believe this is going to be echoing the rest of eternity. The things that you've done and the things that you didn't do, they will be part of who you are and who you will be for eternity. So I don't know how can you face it out there, politician, scumbag, that you are completely now part of this game silently and you say nothing when you had the opportunity and the duty to represent us and speak for us and defend our rights. And as I said, this is not just about the environment. Of course, the environment, we are the environment. Because if I eat poison, I am poisoned. If I breathe, the air is poison, I'm going to be dead. Okay, so it's not just about, they think we're a bunch of, green thumbs. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I love nature. But the point, people must understand, we die. That's the bottom line, okay? It's not just about saving the whales, poor whales, that of course I like. But it's about saving us. If the planet dies, we die. That's the bottom line. Now listen, I gotta go before my blood pressure goes too up. When I goes into these topics, I really go crazy. I want to play a song. I want to give you the option to choose, okay? I don't want to offend my British friends, but I want to give them two options. I have a very strong opinion about royalties. It is not just about the British crown royalties. Anybody that put a crown on their head and demand me to bow down, I can give them the middle finger. And that goes also with the Pope. That's my personal opinion coming from a former Catholic. But I wrote two songs, and you'll choose for respect to you and my British friends. One song is called Chemtrails, written by me, Luca Zanna. And the other one is called Goddamn the Queen. So you pick the song.
Well, being that it was just her 90th birthday, I think we'll go with the Queen one. Okay. And I think Harry Rose is back on the line as well, so he might like to have a few words before we go.
Okay, I'll give you the floor. I got 2 more minutes before the song. Harry, say whatever you want before we go to the song. Go ahead. I think Harry is not there. Okay.
He's gone.
He's gone. Anyway, the song, Goddamn the Queen, dedicated to all my brothers and sisters in England who refuse to bow down to any other human being. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca Zanna, and just to let you know, this show, I'm the only responsible for Goddamn the Queen, so in case there is any special law in the UK, don't take it on Olga or Harry.
Sorry, I am back.
Okay.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, Han Solo said, never tell me the odds. That was in Star Wars. So, he was a fighter too. But very quickly, you talk about the evilness of these governments. They are setting up the original Baal worship altars that children were sacrificed on all over the earth.
Yeah.
New York's got one. Boris Johnson just set one up in London only 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's what we're dealing with here. Evil satanic worshippers that sacrifice children. Fact. That's at their own admission.
Yeah, we should talk about that again. I would like to get you back just on this, because unfortunately we need to find, like the disease, we need to find the cause why there's so much evil. People that are not just crazy or they try to make an extra buck. It's deeper than that. And what you said is very fundamental. It's very vital to understand the truth. I mean, the mainstream media may not report it, but this is fact. this sort of a temple of Baal, this devil worshipping from, is a very ancient religious practical, the occultism that they worship. We're gonna talk about that. Now listen, guys, I need to let you go. Please stay in touch with me. Great job with what you're doing, and I dedicate this song again, "Goddamn the Queen," musical lyrics by Luca Zanna. Talk to you later, and God willing, I'll be back next Sunday on the air. If I don't be around, you know why. See ya.
Thank you.
Goddamn the Queen. Goddamn the Queen. Goddamn the Queen. Goddamn the Queen. Don't forget the king. 1776, we sent you a message. We are free. No more rulers, no more kings. God damn the Queen. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington,